This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul.
That's me, Paul Seaburn. Hey, oh, my cue. See, obviously I didn't come to rehearsal again this year. Hey, everybody out in podcast world. It's me, Paul Seaburn, host of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news podcast, here once a week on NewClevelandRadio.net with media mogul and my co-host and friend. What's your name again? Karen Hale.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Where's my cue card guy?
I don't know.
Anyway, so we're here every week with Karen Hale, and also some coming in your ear or on your screen, depending on how you're viewing this podcast, is my old buddy John DiNallo, host of What in the World of Sports. Hey, John.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Karen. Another week.
Hey, go blue.
Go blue.
Right. Oh, yeah. For those of you who are not observing us on YouTube, which I recommend you should, because we occasionally have some funny pictures, including one today of John DiNallo in his Michigan hat celebrating. What did they do? Did they win some big game? Is that the? Well,
they destroyed Iowa after,
oh.
after beating the stuffing out of Ohio State.
Oh, my goodness. Well, this has nothing to do with paranormal, so we're going to move right along.
No, that was paranormal.
That's right, Karen. That's right. Based on the last several years, Ohio State's always been beating
true.
Michigan,
yeah, so. Michigan winning is weird news. I should have pointed that out.
Law of averages comes around. That's right. Okay.
Enough. We're losing podcast listeners as we speak here. People in China and India are wondering what we're talking about.
That's right.
Please stay with us, because we've got quite a show for you this week, as always, on What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news podcast. Our motto is real news, sometimes strange, always funny. The news that you hear on What in the World is real news from various news sources around the world, which we have picked out because I think we think they're funny. We want to have a good time with them. We want to give you an hour away from the bad news, the business news, the diseases and all that other stuff. We don't talk about any of that kind of stuff. Everything is weird, strange, unusual, abnormal, and hopefully fun. So stick with us. We got plenty of stories. If you don't like the one we're talking about, hang in there another minute, and there'll be another one to follow it up. Like these. Here's what we're going to talk about today. I have my Bigfoot shirt on to make sure everybody knows that we'll be having not one, but two Bigfoot stories this week with sharp photographs and video. This is a huge week as far as Bigfoot is concerned, and you'll find out why when we get to those stories. So please stick with those if you're a Bigfoot fan. New Bigfoot movie, and also a politician who is a Bigfoot supporter. So we'll talk about him. Some ants, not the mother, the sister of your mother kind of ant, but the little ones that crawl on the floor, have social media skills. So we're going to learn a little bit about their social media skills, social networking. We're going to find out the worst place to grow a tooth. And I'm going to ask both of you what you think that is. So be thinking about that now. And also the best place to grow a mouth. So keep everybody think about that out there in the podcast world. Where would you like to have a mouth if you had a choice, other than where it's currently at? I've got a celebrity ghost and UFO story. Another space billionaire is going into space. We'll talk about him for a second. The worst holiday beer. This was popular on my Facebook page. Wait till you hear this stuff, John. I don't think you'll be ordering it, but you may. I don't know. You may like what it's made out of.
Okay.
And we've got some unusual world records. We've got odd news. We've got some trivia, as always, and some sports from John, another weird sport for this week. And, of course, everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the co-host. So an hour of just packed to the brim with weird news. So let's get right to it, because I don't want to leave anything out this week. But we're going to get right to Newfoundland, of all places. Memorial University in Newfoundland has some researchers who have nothing better to do. So they're studying, I want to make sure I get this straight, ring-billed gulls. That's the name of them, the ring-billed gulls. In fact, I think I may have a picture of a ring-billed gull here, which is awfully hard to say without, yeah, there's one looking at his eggs over there. So the reason why all that other stuff is in the picture here is that these researchers are studying these ring-billed gulls, and they found out that they're smarter than the average gull. They put them in this box, which you can see on the screen, and actually outside the box. And inside the box is a plate with a piece of sausage on it. Apparently, these gulls like sausage. And there's a string tied to the plate. And the string is strung through the wall of a plexiglass box and put on the outside. So the test is, if the creature, whatever they're testing, wants the piece of sausage on the plate, they have to figure out how to grab the string and pull it. And there's a little slot at the bottom. Then they can pull the plate and the sausage out from under it. Well, believe it or not, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it, these ring-billed gulls figured out how to do it and got the sausage, making them the smartest bird in the world until they come up with another test. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, so I'm thinking this is monumental news in the bird world, especially for ring-billed doves. So ring-billed gulls. I'm sorry. So I'm thinking that what they should do, the one who figured this out, the head gull, needs to apply for admission to Salisbury University, which is in Maryland. Now, John, I know you're familiar with Salisbury University. They have a special mascot. What is the mascot of Salisbury University?
Well, I know this actually. It's the seagull.
It would be the seagull. That's exactly right. What better mascot? What better student to attend?
Oh my gosh, you were right.
Now, they already have a gull. This is right outside their athletic department. For those who can't see on YouTube, they have a giant statue of a gull wearing a leather sweater. So what better now? The academic students can also have a mascot, the ring-billed gull, which is the smartest bird in the world. So,
wow.
Yeah, isn't that cool? When you're on Facebook, you get friended by a lot of people, and you may not know this, but I am Facebook friends with Mike Love from the Beach Boys. You remember the Beach Boys, don't you?
Of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So we're Facebook friends. So I told him about this story, and he said, that's a really interesting story and very impressive. He said, but I wish they could all be California gulls.
Oh.
Get the horn. Get the horn, please.
Wait, hit the horn.
Oh, yeah, very good. Very good.
Now I remember that song till I learned the right words to it. Right about puberty, I changed. I realized that they weren't gulls. Let's move right along here. So, here's another sports story for you, John. Now this one comes from Las Vegas. But by the way, did you know that Las Vegas actually has a hockey team?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
know that. Sure. Yes. Yes.
They played the Red Wings a couple weeks ago.
The Detroit Red Wings.
Yes.
Really? So
Yes.
you follow hockey that closely. Okay.
No.
Karen, this one's for
My
you.
brother went to see them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to give you the test. I'll give you the trivia question first. What is the what is the Las Vegas team called?
Oh,
What
I
is
have
their
no
mascot?
idea.
John, do you know what?
Yeah, I think so. The Golden Knights. Am I got that right?
Golden Knights. Yes, I have that written right down here on my notes. The Golden Knights. So the Golden Knights are playing again. They could have been playing against the Red Wings. I don't know, Karen. But they had a brawl, not on the ice, which is what normally happens at a hockey game, but in the stands. And a lady, one of the fans, I'm not sure which team she was a fan of, had a prosthetic leg. And during the brawl, she removed her prosthetic leg and started beating another fan over the head with it.
Oh my God.
Oh my! Yeah.
This was, here you go. There she is.
Jeez.
For those of you who can't see it, this lady, but not the best view of her, by the way. She's crawling. It's a rear view, but you can see in one picture she's taking the leg off, and in the other picture she's swinging it, and you can see the rest of her leg with the screw sticking out.
Oh
from
my
her
God!
hand.
Yes, you can.
Wow.
Wow.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Jeez.
So she was pretty upset. I think they hauled her out, and she planned to sue the team, but her lawyer told her, "Forget it. You don't have a leg to stand on."
Oh.
Now,
That's not so bad. That doesn't deserve the horn. That's okay. That one's okay.
well, that was now,
yeah.
John. I gave you the horn. I gave it the horn anyways. I put this on Facebook, and I made a note on Facebook, and I'm going to make the note here. That's not an original joke. That joke is an old joke. It's a Milton Berle style joke. Don't have a leg to stand on. That was always what do you say to a man with no legs or something? I forget what the setup was, but I was always a big fan of Milton Berle. And I wanted to find a couple other lines of Milton Berle because he gets a bad rap for stealing jokes, which he admitted that he did, but some of them were original. Here's a couple of lines of his. Money can't buy you happiness, but it helps you look for it in a lot more places. Pretty good observation.
Yeah.
And this one, a good wife always forgives her husband when she's wrong.
Oh,
Think about that.
No.
I'm going to take this picture down here because it's not the most flattering picture of that poor lady there. Milton Berle and John, I'm not even going to test your trivia knowledge with this one. His real name, Jewish guy, by the way, Karen, I'm sure you knew that. His real name was Mendel Berlinger. Mendel Berlinger. Good Mendel, I believe that's a pretty popular Jewish name. His mother's name was Sarah, what they called her Sadie, Glantz Berlinger. When he became famous, she changed her name to Berle. Liked it better.
Oh,
That's pretty nice. Your mom changes her name to your fake name to get more publicity out of it.
Of course, yeah.
hey, mother's love. I mean, come on now.
There you go. I think I was going to say that's a Jewish mom, but I think any mom would do that. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So now John is retired, but I know he's looking every once in a while. He's looking for something else to do. SpaceX, the private space company, John, is looking for a spaceport mixologist. That's a bartender who works at a spaceport. Now you'd have to move to Texas, which is where their spaceport is. But what they want is a mixologist to serve drinks, cocktails at their launch facility. So they want to get people to come to the launch facility, not just to see the launch, but to get schnockered while they're doing it, apparently, in Boca Chica, Texas. I love that name. So I'm thinking, Elon Musk, this is the owner of SpaceX. He wants to go to Mars. So I'm thinking he's going to have this mixologist make some new drinks to go along with space. And of course, if he wants to go to Mars, he'll have them make a Marstini.
I don't think I've ever seen a martini on like any restaurant menu.
No, well, there you go, John. You could get the job if you come up with the right recipe for it. Here's a couple others for you to work on if you're interested. The Mars Garitas, also for his favorite planet. Mm-hmm. The Mint Julipiter, kind of a stretch there.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
The Mercury Mule, as opposed to the Moscow Mule.
Right.
And this is my favorite. If you make this one, I might at least take a look at it. Sex in the Crater, rather than sex on the beach. So start working on those, John. If you want to get a little side gig.
The power of suggestion. Yeah, really, no kidding.
I'll tell you what, John. If you don't get that one, we live. For those of you who don't know, the three of us live in the Northeast Ohio area, in the greater Cleveland area, it's referred to, and Cleveland has been home for 70 years since the space program started. To it was called the Lewis Research Center, NASA's local research center. It's now the John Glenn Research Center. I'll bet you, John, they'd be interested in having a mixologist down there. You could jump on the bus. You'd be down there in a half an hour. Make sure you wear your mask, of course. But jump on the bus, get off at the airport, take a shuttle over to John Glenn, and boy, you'd be pouring drinks and having a great time.
Oh, that would be fun,
But his Michigan gear.
Oh, yeah, sure. As a quick aside, when I have to go to the grocery store or run an errand,
Yeah.
And it's someone has to I'll go and order lunch meat or something like that. I will never have any Michigan gear on because they'll either shortchange me or give me the worst part of the meat.
Yeah, not in this. Yeah.
My wife is always asking me, why are you always changing out of your Michigan gear when you're going to the store? I say, well, I put my Browns on. Everybody loves the Browns.
Right.
Actually, my doctor, when he did his last procedure here, when he did the cataract surgery, first conversation we had was all about the Browns. So, it just kind of goes with the territory, I guess.
Well, since you brought it up, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but when I go to my eye doctor, the name of the facility is called Buckeye Care or Buckeye Care. And he's an Ohio State alumnus. So when I go to visit him, except for the last time we talk about Ohio State. And that's enough of sports until we get to your segment, John, okay?
Hey, I'm overtaking the format here. Yeah, I will.
Never miss an opportunity to plug Michigan. I know how you guys are. Okay. So, by the way, if you do get that mixologist job, I heard it pays more than being co-host on What in the World.
Hey, you and Karen can come and I'll slide you a few free drinks. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll take pretzels. I'll take anything.
There you go. There you have it.
So anyway, we're talking about billionaires in space. So there's another billionaire going up. Let's see, today's Tuesday. He's going up tomorrow on the Russian Soyuz capsule. He's a Japanese fashion mogul. His name is Yasuko Maezawa. And he's going for a 12-day trip on the International Space Station, going up on the Soyuz, coming back, I guess, on the Soyuz. And he says, I love this quote. He says, I'm so excited. I'm like an elementary student waiting for a school trip. Now, yeah, I know, Karen, but we've all gone on those school trips way back when we were in school. And I'm going to warn the Russian cosmonauts. What that means is, for the entire trip, he's going to be singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall. All those songs that they kids sing to pass the time and drive the bus driver crazy.
Oh, boy.
Then he'll be up there. He'll be singing Michael Row the Boat Ashore, Kumbaya, the Japanese version, of course. All
those popular songs we used to
all
sing.
those popular camping school trip songs.
Exactly.
Anyway, so speaking of, I guess we were talking about medical issues, visiting the doctor. So here's a doctor question for you. What's the best place to have your teeth or have a tooth? Karen, I'll ask you first. Best place to have a tooth?
Best place to have a tooth? In your mouth.
In your mouth. Very good. Second best place, John.
I don't think there is one.
Okay, I'll answer that one. I thought of one underneath your pillow. At least when you're under the age of 12, probably.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
The worst place to have a tooth, according to the New England Journal of Medicine, a 38-year-old man in New York visited Mount Sinai Hospital there, complaining of difficulty breathing. Why was he having difficulty breathing? Because he had a tooth growing in his nose. And if you don't believe me,
no, you're not going to show us.
Oh, of course. I showed you the poor lady's butt that took her. Here we go. There you go.
Oh, boy.
So the X-ray, don't look at the left side of the screen. The X-ray shows you where the tooth was growing. It actually grew up, reversed from, instead of going down into his jaw, it grew up into his nostril.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I thought I'll take that down. We don't want to stare at the tooth too much there.
That's a weird story, Paul.
So they used a rhinoscope, which is what to go up into his nose, and a CAT scan, and they found it in there. And then they actually extracted it, which, the extraction itself took less time than them trying to figure out if they were going to put it on his dental insurance or his medical insurance.
Oh, I'm sure. Yep.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, what if they couldn't pull it? Would it really be that bad? I know he couldn't breathe through one nostril, but would it really be that bad to have a tooth up your nose? I'm thinking, what a great party trick. You go to somebody's house for Christmas and they got carrot sticks.
Oh,
and you go, hey, watch this.
No.
Oh.
Have that carrot stick up your nose and pull half of it out. Oh man. you could win so many bar bets with that.
We didn't practice this in rehearsal. Your producer would not have allowed this.
That's right. Exactly right.
Of course, now that he knows he has a tooth up his nose, he's going to have to figure out how to get toothpaste up there in the tooth. Or floss. My idea is to snort the floss up the one nostril, and then you pull it out of the other one, and have each hand running it back and forth.
Actually, they do that in India.
Oh, like the people who invented the nutty pot, I call it the neti pot. Yeah, same concept. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They do it with what, dental floss, or do they use like?
No, it's some sort of a tube. Ew.
A shoelace might work. Shoelace, you got the little plastic thing on the end.
Oh,
my nose hurts.
There you go. Oh. Anyway, okay, so now we know the best place to have a tooth is in your mouth. The worst place is in your nose. What's the best place to have your mouth? And I'll throw this one to John. What's the best place on your body to have your mouth, other than where it's located? Where would you like to have a mouth?
I'm sorry, Paul. I have no clue.
Karen's already given me the signal. She doesn't want to answer this question.
No.
Get ready for nightmares tonight. Scientists using a camera-equipped remote submarine found a giant phantom jellyfish off the coast of Monterey Bay, California, that was eating its prey with a mouth at the end of its arm. And it's not as gross as the other picture here. Let's see if I can get it queued up here. In fact, I have a video of there is the jellyfish with these two very long appendages sticking out from underneath the helmet like top of the jellyfish, and at the end is a mouth, and it looks like it's reaching to bite something. They took multiple pictures. Is that there's another one right there. So it's a multi-purpose mouth on this particular jellyfish, and they call it a mouth arm, which to me sounds like the dream of every guy, to be able to sit and watch football in your easy chair and reach over for the can of beer and not have to bring it back to your mouth. You save so much time if you could just reach over there and suck it right out of the can. Wouldn't that work? It'd be great at cocktail parties, because they always want you to just take one piece. So when the guy walks away with the tray of hors d'oeuvres, you can just reach around him with your mouth arm and grab a few more.
Yeah,
like an elephant snout almost, huh?
Kind of like an elephant snout. Which, of course, the worst part of having a mouth at the end of your arm is when somebody comes to shake your hand. Where has that hand been? You want to ask them before you shake it. So anyway, let's move along. Speaking of beer, which is what we were talking about, this is, every year, all of these craft breweries now come out with a holiday beer. So this is by far the worst holiday beer I've seen in my life. This comes from Iceland, and I have a picture of the can here so we can take a look at it. The most popular holiday beer, in Iceland this year is called Ora Jólabjór.
Peas and cabbage?
Peas and purple cabbage. That's right, red cabbage. It's actually green peas and pickled red cabbage made into a beer that they say goes well with smoked lamb leg and potatoes.
I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling this one.
It comes with a warning. So which fortunately is in English as well as in Icelandic. The warning says to step back 3 feet from any candles before belching.
I can imagine.
But belching or anything else that you don't want to get near a flame. So this particular brewery, I think it's the brewery's name is Ora, comes out with a holiday brew every year. Why on earth would they? In fact, here's a picture of of them making it. He just dumps the can of beans into the vat. So why on earth would they take peas? I'm sorry. Why would they make a holiday beer out of green peas and red pickled cabbage, you may ask? Because it's time for peas on Earth.
Oh.
Where's this?
Oh.
The horn. That's definitely a horn one for sure.
Peas
Yeah.
on Earth. Now, how on earth did this brewmaster come up with such a tasty combination of green peas and red pickled cabbage? Well, it turns out he's a single guy, and he's sitting at home, and he goes to the cabinet, and he hasn't gone grocery shopping, and that's all he's got left for lunch is green peas and pickled red cabbage. So he puts it in his brown paper bag, and he takes it to work. And he's thinking about it at the meeting, the staff meeting, when his boss says, "So Sven, you had all weekend, what's your idea for the new beer, the new holiday beer?" And all he can think of is green peas and red pickled cabbage. And that's what come out of his mouth. And next thing you know, they're selling it.
Well, there it is.
That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I think that would be classified as a weird beer for sure.
Well, John, if you were a beer connoisseur and you went to a beer tasting, for example, what they would tell you at the beer tasting is that this beer is electric gold, cloudy, sweet, medium bodied, slightly bitter, tastes like roasted malt and candy. John has no reaction to that.
I have no idea what that would be. No idea. Karen,
Would you drink? Would you drink beer that tastes like candy?
I don't think so.
Or a different question is, what kind of candy tastes like peas and pickled cabbage?
Yeah, exactly.
If you hand out if you hand that kind of candy out at Halloween, you're guaranteed to have your house egged, because as soon as they open that wrapper and taste peas and pickled cabbage. So if you thought that was gross, this story comes from the University of Fribourg in Switzerland. So I'm always amazed, and I'll take that down here. I'm always amazed at how these scientists can get funding for these studies. So the scientist, Adrien Leboeuf, he's an assistant. Oh, this is his title: assistant professor and leader of the Laboratory of Social Fluids at the University of Fribourg.
Social fluids.
Yes, the lab. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay, thank you.
But let's find out what he's studying first. So he's studying ants. But let's ask the question: how would you explain to your parents that you're going to college to major in social fluids?
I don't think that would have flown for me.
No.
That's the whole reason you go to college is social fluids, but to major in it is another story. So what they're studying is ants, and ants apparently have social networks just like humans do. However, they don't have little fingers to do texting or anything like that. So here it comes. The new study found that instead of doing post and comments, they vomit into each other's mouths.
No.
And the content of their stomach is how they send messages back and forth to let other ants know when there's good food in the nearby area.
Oh my God.
Will that be? How small can that be? Oh my gosh.
How small? Now there's a question I haven't thought of. How small is ant vomit?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
The people at the social fluids department, I'm sure, have an answer to that, because they had to collect a whole test tube full of it.
Oh my gosh.
How many ants did they have to test? What did they do? Did they squeeze them to make them vomit?
Something to
so
ponder.
weird.
Something to ponder.
Okay, here's something else to ponder. And I had to look it up to find out. But I found out who invented the ant vomit social network. His name was Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh,
Wait, I'm not going to do the horn yet, because you know what he called it?
What?
Facebook. Oh, we're hitting the horn a lot today. This is take a look at the time here, but I want to get to the Bigfoot story. This was on my Facebook page, and everybody liked this one. This is a British company. This comes from Great Britain for our British fans. Tex Chick and And who's the other one down there? Steeler Girl, that's right, down in Texas. British company Curry's PC World broke a Guinness World Record this week by assembling 1,496 recycled washing machines into a gigantic pyramid with 256 washing machines on the base and the height measuring 31 feet, 7.5 inches on each side. So let me put a picture of that up here for us to take a look at. I just lost everybody. Where'd everybody go here?
We're here.
Oh, no. You're there, but I can't see anything. Let's get back. There we go. All right. So let's put a picture of this. This is because it's just so unbelievable. I know they didn't lift them up. They had to use a crane of some sort. But there you go. 1,496 washing machines stacked as a pyramid.
And how long are they going to keep that up?
I don't know, until somebody tells them to take it down. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure why they did it. All I know is, and I've studied the pyramids, and one of the things that's I've wanted to go visit the pyramids, but I always hesitate because they're cursed, and you don't want to suffer the curse of the pyramid. Turns out that this pyramid of washing machines is also cursed because some of the workers who helped build it, when it was all done, they noticed they had one sock missing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We're going. Okay.
All right. I got one more trivia question for you here, John. This comes from China. A 25-year-old man wound up in the emergency room in China with a collapsed lung, and you'll never guess what happened to him. He was singing karaoke at a friend's birthday party, and he strained to hit a high note and collapsed his lung. Yeah, it's a good thing it happened when it did.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a heavy duty singer. But the other people at the party were getting their stick, the sticks you use to bust the piñatas. They were getting their sticks and they were going to whack him with it because they were tired of hearing him singing. But John, back when and Karen, when we were kids, there was karaoke was invented on a television show that I know we all watched when we were kids. Do either of you remember the television show that first invented karaoke?
Oh,
1961 was when it came on NBC.
Not name that tune.
no.
I'll give you a big hint. Follow the bouncing ball.
Oh, Mitch Miller.
Mitch Miller. Sing along with Mitch. Back when we were kids.
Good.
Yeah. When we were kids, there was a television show on he was a band leader.
Yep.
And he would play a song and the words would scroll across the bottom of the screen in black and white.
Yep.
Yeah. And a little black and white ball would bounce along. And all of us sat around the television singing those songs in our terrible little voices. We should have learned our lesson and killed karaoke when Mitch Miller was doing it, but no.
But that was family time.
It was family time. That's right, Karen. It was family time. So speaking of family time, what we do now is we sit around the TV and we watch Bigfoot videos. And that's what we're going to do right now on What in the World. I know John and Karen have been dying to see this. So this is from my buddy Don down in Florida, who's a big Bigfoot fan. He'll recognize the name of the expert that we'll be quoting here because he's gone to visit him. There is a video in the Bigfoot world called the Patterson-Gimlin video. It dates back to 1967. Two guys by the name of Patterson and Gimlin. I know I have their first names here somewhere. Bob Gimlin and Roger Patterson. So they were out in California, in Northern California, on Bluff Creek, and they're looking for Bigfoot. And this is 1967, John, so they didn't have cell phones. But what they had was a movie camera. Oh. And they shot 60 seconds of Bigfoot video at 16 frames per second. So it's not great video, or not great movie, but that has become the most famous Bigfoot video in history. And I think I have, I don't know if I have the actual video here, but I do have a picture of it and you'll recognize it. So there's, they were in the woods. There's fallen trees every place, and it's even though it's somewhat blurry, and if you had seen it in black and white, and this one is colorized, it was very shaky. but it's still one of the better Bigfoot videos that has ever been taken. So it's become famous. Everybody studies it, including Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and that's the friend of our friend Don. Dr. Jeff Meldrum works at the Idaho State University. He is a professor of anthropology and anatomy. He's also the author of a book that I've read called Sasquatch: Legend Meets Science. This guy knows anthropology inside and out. Okay, he's really good at what he does. So on the History Channel on Friday night, they broadcast a show called something. What was it? I didn't write it down. Okay, so the proof is out there. It's called The Proof is Out There. And what Dr. Meldrum teamed up with a guy who's a computer expert in artificial intelligence. So the first thing to learn, let's see if I have another picture here to take a look at here. So here's the two guys. There's Gimlin and Patterson, and they're looking. They not only did they shoot a movie of Bigfoot, but they also, and John, I know you always complain about this, they also followed it and found footprints, and they had plaster because they're good Bigfoot researchers. They made plaster cast of the footprint. So these two guys, there's a picture of them on the screen right now. They are holding, and one of them is barefoot, and you can see their foot is much smaller than the plaster cast of the Bigfoot. So I didn't know this, but the movie that we've seen for all these years since 1967 is not the original. They lost the original, but fortunately, many people have made copies of it. So this guy, the computer guy, Dr. Tian is his name. He found 22 different copies of the original, and then he fed them into this artificial intelligence program. And what he did was he searched for the best frames out of each one. So I don't know how many frames that was for a 1 minute video. Or 1 minute movie wasn't, a lot, but his artificial intelligence program went through there and took the best. And then he fed it through three-dimensional algorithms to take the best ones, and then he stabilized it. And I don't know, I may have there's another picture of the foot and a close-up. Now, this is more what you're used to, the pixelated version of the Bigfoot photo.
That's right, sure.
Photograph, yeah. Anyways, I'll get to this one in a second. So the video that he took is crystal clear. I might have a picture of the Bigfoot. Oh, there's Dr. Meldrum right there. Do I have a? There we go. There's the original video right there. So I don't know. I couldn't get. We don't have the rights to the one that they put on the History Channel.
He walks just like a man.
Well, that's actually a female Bigfoot, but we'll let that go. I'll point out what the deal is there. So, so Dr. Meldrum. So they took this to Dr. Meldrum, and he is just blown away. This is the best picture that he's ever seen of a Bigfoot. So he's an anatomist. So he says, I was struck by the massive size of the trapezius muscles and their attachment to the back of the skull. This is not a human configuration at all, but something that is intermediate between a human and a great ape. So right off the bat in the show, he's already saying this is not a person in a in a Bigfoot costume. The trapezius muscles, by the way, are in across your shoulder. They hold your head to your body. So that's the stuff going across the back of that Bigfoot. He also pointed out, I love this, that you can't see it in this one as well, because this is the old video movie. You can see the Bigfoot's butt crack. And the other thing that you can see in the new one, you can also see that it has very large breasts that are swinging about as it walks through the forest. So that is, as it turns, it takes a 3/4 turn and looks back at the camera. And you can see that this is clearly either a female Bigfoot or a male who needs a man bra. So he calls it Patty. Dr. Meldrum calls it Patty because now we know for certain that it's a female. And he says there were details in how Patty walks. There's and he goes back to the footprint. There he's holding it right. This one right here. Karen, you were looking at how the Bigfoot moved, but he was looking at the actual foot. And here's a picture of the foot circle.
Got it.
So like Bigfoot's foot is someplace else. It's at the end of its arm. So you know where the foot is. He said that it has no arch, and even flat-footed people have a little bit of an arch. He said this particular cast shows that there's, and the video verified, there's no arch whatsoever. And he said that's impossible. In humans, it's impossible. In apes, it can only be some other creature. And they asked him what he thought. And he said, she, Patty, is absolutely consistent with what a bipedal hominid would look like. Sasquatch does exist. So he came right out on national TV and said, as far as he's concerned, that movie, that artificially modified movie, is the best evidence there is that Bigfoot does exist. Now, so I'll ask the two of you: does that convince you that Bigfoot exists, Karen?
No.
I didn't think so. John, how about you?
Clearly not.
Clearly not. Well, I've done more research on Bigfoot than the two of you because of my work at Mysterious Universe, and I've read Dr. Meldrum's book, and he is a renowned at what he does. Studying the physique. My problem with the whole thing is that it was a shaky video to begin with, a film, and what they did was they artificially enhanced it. So they're making the assumption that it was real, and now it's really real. But that doesn't, by artificially enhancing it, it didn't prove to me that was a real film. And there's a lot of people that believe that these two guys faked it, although the one passed away and he went to his grave swearing that those were real videos. So a real film of Bigfoot. So anyways, I thought that was interesting. If you guys don't believe in Bigfoot, this guy does here. Now, this guy's name is Greg Stokes. Greg Stokes is the mayor of Regalsville, Pennsylvania, population 868. And we've talked about Bigfoot politicians on the show before. We had a U.S. representative from Virginia who lost his reelection bid when it came out that he not only wrote Bigfoot porn, but he, I think he may have even starred in a Bigfoot porn movie. So this guy, this year he came out with, he finally confessed that the reason why he's interested in Bigfoot is because he actually had a Bigfoot encounter when he was a kid. Now, he didn't see Bigfoot, so he doesn't have any pictures. That's not what he's holding up in his picture. But he heard a Bigfoot scream for 10 minutes. 10 full minutes he heard the Bigfoot scream. He said it pierced him like nothing ever pierced him before. He was in his he had just joined the military, so he said he wasn't drunk, although he doesn't say if he was drunk after he heard the scream. But he and his girlfriend are camping, and they heard footsteps outside the tent. And luckily he had his knife and his hatchet, so they waited in the tent. And after 10 minutes, the footsteps stopped, but the screaming began for another 10 minutes. He went out and he couldn't find any footprints, but he was convinced that what was outside his tent was a Bigfoot, and he became a big Bigfoot researcher. He actually went to that Bluff Creek to see where that Patterson-Gimlin film was taken, and he believes this is the part that I wanted to get to, that Bigfoot is actually an extinct, although not extinct, giant ape. And it's called I'll put a picture of of how big it was. The Gigantopithecus Blackie, which is a real extinct prehistoric ape that, let's see, that's 3 meters. 3 meters is so that's a 10-foot tall creature whose arms are longer than the human standing next to it is tall. That's a pretty big creature.
It is a big creature, no question about it. Look at that.
Yeah. In fact, I think 3 meters is almost 12 feet tall. So these lived between 100,000 and 300,000 years ago in Asia. So what he believes is that when humans were crossing over the Bering Strait, when it was a solid piece of land, these giant apes also snuck across when the humans weren't looking, and somehow made it all the way to Pennsylvania without being detected. And now, when he was a teen, he actually saw one. Okay, I'm not sure if I believe that part, but Bigfoot, we've talked about this before. Pennsylvania is one of the top Bigfoot areas in the country because they have so many forests and also so many farms for the Bigfoot to sneak out of and
Sure.
some eating. Yeah. So
Well, I think the person that's going to be able to take the next photograph will hopefully have a clearly defined photo that we can say conclusively that's a Bigfoot.
well, this is a drawing here, so I'm not going to try and convince you that that's what it is. But anyway, but you're right. So this mayor, the Greg Stokes is his name. I couldn't find out. I wanted to know if he was running for re-election because making confessions like this always causes problem when you're running for re-election. Although now there's only 868 people living in Regalsville, Pennsylvania. When he's not mayor, he's also the town chiropractor. So they have to think. They don't want to make this guy angry by not voting for him, because where are you going to go to get your back, when you need your back cracked or your neck or whatever it is you go to a chiropractor for. So he may be one of the first politicians to believe in Bigfoot and also hold on to his job. But he can at least say that I was never in a Bigfoot porn video, which I think should be his campaign slogan for the upcoming election.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I was never in a Bigfoot.
You'll get some support on that, I would think, right?
In Pennsylvania, of course, they support the Steelers. They'll support this guy. So I had to get
fans out there.
We have a sports theme running through the show here this week. So anyway, so there's our Bigfoot story for the week. I thought that was two Bigfoot stories. So national news, this is on the History Channel. Not any schmuck channel. This is the History Channel, where you go to learn about things, or at least you used to. But I don't know. If you watch some of the things on the History Channel, it's starting to dip a little into the, go down the rabbit hole, as some people like to say.
That's a very good description, Paul. Very
So speaking of going down the rabbit hole, I think it's time to go down the rabbit hole with our good buddy John DiNallo, who every week I challenge to come up with a sport that we've never heard of, something from around the world. It doesn't have to be from the United States. Possibly something that we could participate in, maybe to get a little more physically fit, or possibly even to introduce to the greater Cleveland area or Northeast Ohio, where we could become commissioners of the sport, have our own team, and finally bring a national championship to our wonderful city of Cleveland. So John never finds any sport that we can participate in. I don't know about this one here. But go ahead and explain this sport to us, John. Take it away.
Oh, thanks, Paul. Yeah, it is extremely weird.
Extremely, yes.
Extremely.
Extreme with the yes.
Yes, correct. So the term for this sport, or the name, is parkour. And
parkour. Some people, I bet you some of our listeners have heard that.
Yeah.
Well, where did it come from?
Well, it comes from France. And
not from the parking lot.
No.
From France. Okay. Like Coneheads.
Right,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
But no, actually, Paul, it is a training discipline where the practitioners are called tracers. And what tracers, and they move from one place to another in a complex environment without assisting equipment in their movement, but it's where these tracers try to go in the most efficient way possible. And it has its roots in military obstacle course training and the martial arts. And so what it includes running, climbing, swinging, vaulting, jumping, rolling, and you might have to look up this one, quadrupedal movement. And that's going to be where these people do these things based on whatever is the most suitable for the situation.
So that's a pretty complex description there, John. I'm gonna for those of you on YouTube or come take a look at it later, and for Karen's benefit, here's a picture of some young adults
Young Trace,
participating
yeah, yes,
in parkour. So they're jumping off of the rails and flipping in the air and doing handstands
On top of concrete.
on concrete. Give a good observation, Karen.
Karen, you'll be interested to know that a lot of it is done in urban areas. The
Oh,
research
wow.
says it's done in cities, and it's done, where there is concrete as well as maybe grass or whatever.
It almost appears like the best parkour, whether you call them tracers, the best parkour tracers are people who are experienced at running away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that would be very suitable. Exactly.
Getting in trouble, running away, and all of a sudden you're a participant in the sport of parkour. Now it's French, okay? So explain how this came about, John.
Sure. The origin, back in 1988, a gentleman by the name of David Bell, he formally established parkour in France as a type of movement. And the discipline gained significant popularity in the late 1990s and early 2000 through films, documentaries, and advertisements. So
I can remember this. You call it a movement rather than a sport. And yes. I do remember when people started talking about parkour that they were talking about it more of a spiritual kind of thing rather than, besides being physically fit, but it was like a philosophy of some sort.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of a principle or whatever. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a couple more guys jumping over concrete barriers.
So you may want to know about the origin of the word or the etymology of the word. That's a
of course,
25-cent word. But the word parkour comes from parcours du combattant, or simply obstacle course in English. That's in French. That's what it's called for. And how this comes about is a French naval officer by the name of Georges Herbert.
I don't have his picture.
Well, he was a pioneering physical educator in the French military before World War I, and he developed this as a system of both physical education and mental training.
So this, he probably called it an obstacle course, okay? But that's what
Right.
Yeah, but he used it running away as a form of training, okay? Which is not what you want your army to do.
You don't want to be retreating. You want to be going forward. I mean, obviously,
they should be going forward, running towards.
Yeah, exactly. So then, as I said, in 1988, another person, Raymond Bell, used the term le parkour to encompass all of his training, including jumping, climbing, running, bouncing, and the other methods he undertook in his personal athletic development. See, this can be done individually, or as in this case, you can do it with a group of people. His son, David, further developed his father's methods and achieved success as a stunt man, which would be a natural if you think of it. I mean, if you're able to do these kinds of things there, you can do it, of course, as a stuntman, whether it's done for a television, movie, what have you.
The picture that I have up here is there's a bunch of people taking videos of this guy jumping far beyond what normal humans can jump.
Oh, boy. So these traceurs, which is the male, and then the feminine form is being trachousse. That's my French pronunciation is not that good, but they're both derived from the French verb tracer, which again means to trace a path, as in drawing, but also means hurry up. Together, they describe what tracers do and what is a jam. So these people.
I'm going to stop you a second before you explain what a jam is, John.
Sure, okay.
For those of you watching on YouTube, or for those who are listening, it's worth it to go to YouTube later on because I have a couple of videos of people being followed by someone with a camera, and they're jumping from building to building. And this is what this sport is all about. running from building to building. Obviously, these people are skilled at getting away.
Well, yes, they are.
So because John, they're in a jam. And tell us what a jam is.
I'll be happy to, Paul. A jam refers to a meeting of trousers involving training lasting anywhere from, it could be hours, and believe it or not, several days. So some people are that fanatical or obsessed to be able to do these kinds of activities. They have to take a break, of course, but it can go for several days. That's the research that I've been able to find.
Well, it
also
depends on what you stole and how far you need to.
Well, and then there's even an approach where people will come from different cities to be able to participate like this.
Okay.
It's so free form. Doesn't really have a lot of structure in that term, but
I
yeah,
guess.
that's what they do. Now, for organizations, Karen, this is for you. International parkour organizations include the World Free Running and Parkour Federation, which was established in 2007. And they've actually worked with MTV to produce parkour related shows.
Oh, because that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
If you can't watch crime shows, you watch people running away for fun.
And then the International Gymnastics Federation, or the FIG, as it's called, and they added parkour as one of their disciplines in 2017. Now, this FIG program includes speed running, which is sprinting, and also freestyle events. So, again, it can be what you want it to be, I guess, in a way.
This is a guy. There's a video playing right now of a guy. It looks like he's sliding down a banister.
Yes, he is.
Except it's outside. And he does a backflip at the end, and he keeps on running. This is the most amazing thing.
It is amazing.
Please don't tell me this isn't getting more popular, John.
Well, let me explain why. The first event in the FIG Parkour World Cup was held the weekend of April 6th to 8th in 2018.
A World Cup.
World Cup. Okay. The first Parkour World Championship was scheduled to take place in Hiroshima, Japan, in April of 2020, but was postponed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it is now expected to debut in the 2022 World Games.
World Games. Now, oh my God.
And as a closing here, think of this. It's too bad stores don't have in-person Black Friday sales anymore. Excuse me, because the parkour looks like the perfect training for it.
Oh, no kidding.
There's value in everything. So
jumping over counters and then running out with your package.
See, you can run down the escalator faster than it would be if it would take you down.
There you go. So parkour, the sport from France based on obstacle courses and shoplifting, apparently.
Oh my gosh, there we are.
But it does look like that you would have to be pretty physically fit and have to do this kind of thing.
Now, absolutely, you'd have to be, sure.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who have listened to this show before and who know us and have seen us on the videos, you might not think that we could participate in a sport like this. But believe it or not, all three of us have been participants, tracers, as John puts it, in parkour jams. And I just happen to have videos of all of us. Now, I think the first video is me in one of my early attempts at parkour. Let's take a look. Yeah, there you go. That's me attempting to run down some stairs over here. Now, I also have John. John was a little more advanced. He's much better at this sport than I am. So here's John.
Oh,
he makes it to the bottom. But look at that, Karen. He
walked away from it. Yeah.
Like nothing happened.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So normally we don't have videos of Karen, but you would not. But this was before Karen, and maybe this is why Karen had her knee surgery. But we have a video of Karen participating in parkour. Let's take a look at this video right here. So here's Karen falling, attempting to jump over some chairs.
Yeah, that's
falling
me.
down.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
ouch.
Yeah, that hurt that day. Yep.
No kidding. For those, this is a video by the way of Mary Catherine Gallagher from Saturday Night Live, not Karen. But anyways, I thought you'd enjoy those. So John, as always, thank you for the for one of the more unusual sports. There's actually a little bit of athleticism involved in that one, so I can't say it's the weirdest by far, but certainly one of the scariest. So thanks again for that.
Yeah, you're welcome, Paul. You're welcome.
Now, at the end of sports, that means it's time for Bluff the co-host, everybody's
Yes, it
favorite
is.
weird news game. That's right. We're running a little late here. So if you haven't, if you've tuned into the show before, if you haven't, I'll explain it. In Bluff the co-host, I have three more stories, just like the ones we've been talking about, with one difference, and that is that the stories, while all those we've been talking about this afternoon are real. Bluff the co-host, they may be real, but they may be a bluff, and it's up to John and Karen and those of you playing on the podcast at home to determine if it's real or if it's a bluff. We have permission from YouTube. We can and from newclevelandradio.net, where gambling is allowed, so place your bets. And John and Karen, put your hands on the buzzers and let's. Oh, by the way, these all have a Christmas theme. Each story has a Christmas theme. So,
Okay, very good.
hands on the buzzers. Story number one. If you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift for the person who has everything except something fried to sleep in, KFC has the solution. The fried chicken chain is selling limited edition KFC Christmas pajamas that are a festive red with white cuffs on the sleeves, just like KFC buckets, and are covered with decorative gravy boats for your mashed potatoes, if you know what we mean. For those who don't wear pajamas, KFC also has a beautiful robe with the same colors and patterns. To make your gift extra crispy and extra special, the pajamas and robe can be monogrammed for an extra charge. But most people are happy with the initials it comes with, K, F, and C. Okay, so Karen and John, KFC is coming out with gifts to give your friends, KFC pajamas and robes that you can have monogrammed in the colors of the KFC bucket of chicken. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
I hope it's not real.
Okay, so that means you think it's a bluff.
I think it's a bluff. Yeah.
Okay. And we need to verify that for the judges.
Yes.
Okay, so Karen says it's the bluff. John, how about you?
Yeah, I have to agree with Karen. I mean, I can't envision that. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but no, I'm going to say no.
So John says it's a bluff as well. So Karen and John both say it's a bluff. So let's check with the judges. And the judges say that Paul will be giving both of you pajamas and robes from KFC because those are both real.
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe that?
You may keep that present this year.
Yeah, I don't think I want it either.
Don't want a KFC robe or pajamas, even with the little gravy boats on them. Okay, all right. Well, what this means, though, let's see. Both of you were wrong on that one, so the score is currently tied at 0-0.
We're coming back.
Okay, well, John's got his lucky hat on, so it was good for the Wolverines. Hopefully, it'll be good for you. So let's go with story number 2. If you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift for the person who eats everything, Heinz has a solution. It has teamed up with the company that makes those foil-wrapped sliced chocolate oranges to make, get ready, Heinz chocolate orange mayo. That's right. The makers of Crunch ketchup and ranch dressing, Mayo Must, mayo and mustard, and Mayo Chup, which is mayonnaise and ketchup, have decided that what's missing from this everyday condiment mashup line is a special sauce to squeeze on desserts, pancakes, croissants, English muffins, or whatever else you think needs a mayo chocolate orange boost. Heinz chocolate orange mayo is only available until supplies run out, so order yours today. All right, John, I can see you smacking your lips there. You're really hoping that that Heinz chocolate orange mayo is the real thing. What do you say?
Oh, Paul, man, I'm hoping it's not real. I mean, I just think there's too many collisions of taste. Too many collisions of flavors. Oh my gosh, I'm hoping it's not true.
John's hoping it's so John says it's a bluff. He's hoping that this one isn't real either. What about you, Karen? Can you taste
I
dipping
have
those
to
slices
agree
in?
with
Oh.
John this week because that sounds like the most disgusting recipe I've heard.
Okay, so Karen says that chocolate orange mayo sauce is a bluff. John says it's a bluff. So you both agree it's a bluff. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, okay, so if you don't want the pajamas, Paul will be sending you Heinz chocolate orange mayo by the case because that's a real story.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute. Wait 1 second here. I'm going to gather if they're going to try to market this, there's got to be a test market somewhere.
Oh, well, they're way beyond that already, John.
Oh, is that right?
Oh,
Yeah,
So do we
it's
expect
almost
it in the
Christmas.
stores?
Yeah,
Do we expect it in the stores, by January or something?
I think you have to get it from their website.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
Because they don't want people throwing it out, throwing it away.
I think I'm going to pass on that one.
Heinz is big on this mashup stuff, so
Oh, my
I
gosh.
didn't realize that. But yeah, okay. So let's see. That was what's the score here? 0-0, two times. Wow, that writer was really good this week. Let's see. All
pat
right,
yourself on the back.
I am right there on my trapezoidal, whatever that thing is called.
Trapeze.
That's right. Okay. So let's see. That's 2. We're on question number 3. Story number 3. Points are doubled in round number 3. So let's get right to it. Again, another Christmas story. Hands on the buzzer. If you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift for the dinosaur who has everything, a British sweater company has a solution. London's Natural History Museum decided its life-size model of a Tyrannosaurus Rex needed to get into the holiday spirit, so it ordered a specially made Christmas sweater for it. While its sweaters are made up to triple extra large, the company never made one in T-Rextra large. It took over 100 hours to measure and knit the Christmas sweater. And visitors to the museum say the T-Rex has never looked more festive. If you don't have a T-Rex to buy a sweater for, but you have a friend who just wants to look like one, human-sized copies are available in the museum gift shop. All right, Karen. So a Christmas sweater knitted especially for the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the London Museum of Natural History. What do you say? Real or bluff?
I have to believe that you are really trying to confuse me to say real, and I'm not going to. I'm going to say bluff.
Wow. Okay. There's a convoluted logic if I ever heard it.
You're right. Yep.
Karen's going to stick with that. So Karen says that that's a bluff. How about you, John? What do you say?
I'm kind of on the fence, but I'm thinking it can't be real. I mean, of course, I don't think logically about these things because it defies logic. So, but I'm going to say,
tell us.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. I'm going to say it's a bluff. It's a
So John says it's a bluff. So Karen and John both say it's a bluff that the London Natural Museum, the Natural Science Museum, has a Tyrannosaurus Rex in a Christmas sweater that was knitted especially for it. Let's check with the judges on this. They're already shaking their heads because they have bad news for you, people. That's also a real story. You can Google it. I would have brought a picture up for it if I had one, but yeah.
Here's a question I have, Paul. Do you know if the dinosaur has that just only for the Christmas season? I mean, we're talking about a museum. We're talking about like art, okay? And they're going to do something like that. It's not a sacrilege, okay, anything like that, but it's a travesty.
So you're comparing this to putting a Christmas sweater on the Mona Lisa, for example.
Well, yeah, it's kind of the same spirit. I don't know. The world's upside down.
The world is upside down, and that's why you need what in the world every week. I hate to be a
curmudgeon, but it seems like the world's upside down these days.
Well, there's one thing I can tell you is that I did better this week than Ohio State did because
Yes, you did. Yes.
there you go. The score is 0-0. No right for either John or Karen. But we play Bluff the Co-host to have fun, not to keep score, right, John?
Absolutely. Better luck next time to us.
That's right.
There you go. All right.
I tell you what, Paul, those are very challenging questions.
They were unbelievable stories. There was no way I could twist them into something that was a bluff. So I just went with
agreed.
Okay.
We
Anyways, and
appreciate
that's what we like to do on What in the World. So again, thank you, all of you on the podcast and on YouTube for listening. We welcome you every week. We're so glad. Let us know who you are on Facebook or on email so we can say hello to you, to people like Don and Kevin and Tex Chick, who we hear from all the time. Stick with us next week. Let's see, we'll still be on. We still have a couple more shows before the Christmas holidays. So get your weird news, your fun news every week at What in the World. I want to thank my old friend and sports guy, John DiNallo. Thanks again for the sports and for playing along and being a good sport. So
that's fine. You're welcome, Paul. Very much so.
All right. And Karen, again, our media mogul and co-host of the show. Thank you for everything that you do for us and for New Cleveland Radio. Again, go check out all of the podcasts that are on newclevelandradio.net. They're great. There's something for everybody. But first, go to What in the World, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Have a great day, everybody.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.